everyone, this is Marika and welcome back to another session with me. As we are dealing the sixth unit in communication and education technology, we have discussed about different methods of teaching, right? We've seen different methods of teaching such as the lecture method, demonstration method, field trips, seminar, symposium, project method, right? Today we are going to see one of the very important method of teaching which is especially very useful in today's world. Okay, that is computer assisted learning. So when I say the term computer assisted learning itself, it must strike your mind that it is a way of learning or method of learning with the aid of an computer, right? Today in this session, we are going to discuss about what is computer assisted learning, what are the different features of computer assisted learning, what are the advantages of computer assisted learning, and what is the use of computer in education as well as in the profession of nursing. In today's world, we see there are a lot of changes when we compare the world to earlier days, right? Computer, mobile phones, and electronic devices have been a major part of our life now. It is very important to use all these technologies in our daily life, not only to make our lives easier, but also to make learning as well as other various activities enjoyable, right? Now, computer is one of a very important aspect of technology, right? Usage of computer is not only limited to education, but to healthcare system, science, research, social sciences, and various other fields in the world today. Let us understand what is a computer. Computer has been derived from the word compute, which means to calculate. Now, what is a computer? We all know a computer is an electronic device or an electronic machine. We all know what is learning, right? Now, what is computer assisted learning? Computer assisted learning can also be called as computer assisted instructions. All right. Now, when we learn something or when any concept is presented with the use of the computer, we can call it as computer assisted learning, right? Now, as I said, the use of computer is not just limited to the education system, but it is used in healthcare, in researches, in social science, and various other fields in the world today, right? So the use of computer in the healthcare system especially helps to save the time, economize the energy of the people, and also it will help the nurse to provide quality nursing care to the patients. When we talk about computer assisted learning or when we talk about the computer used in terms of education or learning, we can say that it is still in its infancy level. Right? In healthcare system, computer has been used and it proves to be a major part in healthcare system. But in education, computer learning or computer assisted learning, it is still at the phase of infancy, which means it is just starting, right? The use of computer and other technologies are just started in education system. Even though it is like that, we cannot deny that education and this incorporation of users of computer in the education has brought many innovations in the field of learning and education. So now let us see what is the definition of computer assisted learning. Computer assisted learning may be defined as any learning process which is mediated by a computer, which requires no direct interaction between a human instructor and the user for the process to occur. So computer assisted learning, it is a process of learning, it is a way of learning in which there is no interaction between the user or the learner and a human instructor. It is the computer which provides the instruction or the learning to the learners, right? In general, when we talk about learning, there is a teacher involved and there is a student involved. So between the teacher and the student, there is a direct interaction, right? This teacher communicates with the students responds to the teacher, ask doubts, right? This is a general way of learning. But in computer assisted learning, there will be a learner. The learner will have their computers and they can learn directly from the computer and they do not require the help of a human instructor, right? The learning is mediated by the computer. Here I've put some pictures where you can see how a computer assisted learning classroom looks like. Okay, so in the picture you can see every student will have their own computers or their laptops for the process of learning. The learning is mediated by the computer and they do not have any human instructor as a teacher to help them learn. Now, CAL, which is computer assisted learning, have proved to be CAL or computer assisted learning has proved to be a process of learning through which students have better retention of what they have studied. Who are taught through CAL is also high. It enhances the clinical judgment skills of the student, and also the instruction that is provided to the student requires less time than a teacher actually taking the class. So when we take computer assisted learning provides better clinical judgment to the student. Through computer assisted learning, the instruction time that is required to teach the student is also decreased. The retention of the knowledge, what is taught to the student through the computer, is also better than what is taught by the teacher, and the achievement scores of the students through computer assisted learning is also high. Now, educational computer programs enhances the lecture or instruction of the teacher in several ways, right? Through use of computer, the teacher can enhance their lecture, they can enhance their class, right? So it will help to enrich the lecture of the teacher as well. Now, computer assisted learning is one such method of learning which will provide opportunities to each and every learner, right? It is learner based and it provides the information and the data accurately, right? So computer assisted learning can provide the information and the data accurately to the students, as well as it will provide opportunity for each and every learner to learn at their own pace. Whereas when we take an example of a class, there are many different kind of students who have different learning abilities, right? There is one single teacher who teaches around 50 to 100 of students in a single session. So the way the teacher deals with the topic or the way teacher teaches a particular topic, every student might not have the equal range of understanding, right? The students might not understand it properly. Few might not, right? But in computer assisted learning, the students can learn at their own pace with the help of computer, and it provides opportunity for each and every learner to understand the concept. Computer assisted learning makes a particular lesson more interesting, and computer assisted learning can make the learning process more interactive and engaging. Not interactive with the teacher present, but with the computer, right? It makes the learning more engaging because each and every individual are involved in their own activity. While in a general setting or in general and conventional classroom, every student might not pay attention to the teacher, and the teacher also will not have control over each and every student of the class, right? But in computer assisted learning, the students have to undergo their own activities and they have to interact more with the computer in order to learn the materials provided, right? Therefore, computer assisted learning will make the lesson more interactive and engaging. Now let us see how is computer assisted learning helping in terms of education. The first one is computer helps to maintain progress report of the student, right? So in computer, we can have a total detailed progress report of each and every student, right? From the beginning, how the student was till the student completes his college or school, we can have a total detailed progress of the student in the computer. Now, generally, when it is written down in a paper or when a file is maintained, it might sometimes be missed, and also it doesn't provide a systematic data because different files to maintain the progress of a particular student, right? When we maintain a particular sheet for the student in the computer about their progress, it will help the teacher to have a better understanding at one glance. The computer engages the students in various tutorials which are required for them in learning. Obviously, computers are used to learn about a particular topic. The student can use the computer and the internet to learn about various aspects of a particular topic. Next one, computer makes it easier to access files for guidance or any kind of information required in an educational institution. So as I said, to maintain files and to keep it written down in a paper, we need to have different files and we do not get a detailed information at one glance. Whereas if information and references are saved in the computer about the student or about anything that is happening within an educational institution, with the help of computer, at a glance, we will have a clear picture about a particular student or a particular event, right? So to preserve information and also to make sure that the information is understood at once, computer makes it easy. So these are the different ways through which computer helps in education system. Next, we have computer assisted writing. Right? What is computer assisted writing? So from the term itself, we can see that computer is helping in the process of writing. Now let us see in detail what does this mean and how does the computer helps to how does the computer helps to the students to actually write in the process of learning. So a computer program for writing helps the student to develop new ideas, organize their content, and also for brainstorming. Computer provides a framework for writing which saves the effort of the student that they have to put for writing it down, and rather the student can actually focus on the content rather than organizing and developing it, right? So with the use of computer, a lot of effort that is actually required for the students to put while writing a particular content, it is decreased with the help of computer. Now let us see how. Computer programs for writing. The first one is word prediction. We know what is word prediction. From the term itself, we can understand prediction of words. Now, how does this program work in a computer? Specific programs which identifies the words that is repeatedly used by the student. Word prediction is a specific program that recognizes the word which is repeatedly used by the individual of the computer. Okay, so what happens, you might have noticed when you type certain few words, the initial few words, a word prediction pops up. It includes the word that might start with that particular alphabet and it suggests the word. So if we click on that word, it directly types. We do not have to type the entire word. These are specific programs that are available in the computer, right, which predicts the word that is repeatedly used by the user. Right? Because of this particular program, the time that we use for typing a particular sentence becomes much shorter and it will speed up the typing process of an individual. You must all have seen that there is a program in the computers where we actually switch on the microphone, speak into the microphone, and the computer automatically types what we are speaking, right? So these are also specific programs that are installed in each and every computer where we can switch on the microphone. It listens to what we are speaking and types it down. It converts the speech that we speak or words that we speak into the text. So during a during the learning process, the teacher must take the initiative and teach the student to use this feature in order to make sure that the student use their time effectively. Next one, we have text to speech. Now again, it is similar to speech to text. In speech to text, it was converting what we were speaking into the microphone to the words, right? Here, text to speech is usually used if everything is typed out, if the student wants to see if the students have typed it correctly. So they can simply switch on text to speech. The students, if they switch on this feature, the computer will start reading out the text that has been typed. This will ensure if the students have typed the content correctly. Computer program for writing, there are three different aspects involved. The first one is word prediction. The word prediction is when the computer actually predicts the word that the student repeatedly use once the student have typed the first 2 or 3 letters. It decreases the time spent by the student in typing the content. The second one is speech to text. which means the student can simply switch on the microphone and speak into the microphone so that the computer will start typing what the student is speaking. Text to speech. In this, the student usually use this feature to see if what is typed is correctly typed, right? The student can switch on this feature and whatever is typed out is read out by the computer to ensure that it is done correctly. And the last one we have is spell check. So we all know this is a common feature that not only computer has, even our mobile phone has. This will help the students to understand if they have misspelled any of the words, right? If the spelling is incorrect, the computer or mobile phone suggests the correct spelling, right? So this will help the student to understand if they have any spelling mistakes in the entire content. And if the program is appropriately set, if it is properly programmed in the computer, it automatically corrects the words as well. Let us now see what are the advantages of computer-assisted learning and what are the disadvantages of computer-assisted learning. The first one is it caters to an individual. With computer-assisted learning, as we have discussed before, this individual can progress at their own rate and learn at their own rate. It will help the individual to learn on their own pace. It will give the opportunity to each and every learner to learn according to their capacities. And we've also seen that computer-assisted learning helps the individual to minimize the effort that is required for them to type the entire content or to learn the content, right? But even though it seems like a flawless way of teaching, even though it seems like a flawless technique of teaching, there are various disadvantages of computer-assisted learning. Let us see what are those disadvantages. The first one is the computer fails to appreciate the emotions of the students. When in a conventional classroom, the teacher teaches to the student, the teacher can actually see the emotions of the student, appreciate the emotion of the student, have an understanding with the students, whereas a computer cannot do that. That is the first disadvantage. The next one is the environment that is created by the teacher in a general classroom is lacking in computer-assisted learning, right? There is no environment that is created in the computer-assisted learning. What happens when a teacher enters the class, the teacher interacts with the student, greets them, asks them how they are doing, asks them about what they have learned in their previous class, correlates the topic, and then slowly introduces the new concept to the students. Whereas in computer-assisted learning, that will be lacking. The environment that the teacher creates will not be available in computer-assisted learning. The next disadvantage is the expense or the cost. So computer-assisted learning is obviously expensive. So cost of having a computer, and not just the computer, there are different softwares that we have to use in a computer, right? So the cost of computer, the software is very expensive. So to use computer for each and every student, to be able to provide softwares that are required for the student to learn, sometimes is not possible for some classrooms, right? It is an expensive procedure. Next one we have, it is sometimes, or it can be sometimes, very difficult for the teachers to implement the computer-assisted learning. Now, anytime electronics are being introduced in the education system, it somehow complicates the education process, because here the teacher first has to learn the entire process of operating the computer, how to use the computer and what are the features of computer before the teacher teaches to the student, right? So the teacher has to learn the entire concept properly in order to make sure that she is able to use those features and also teach to her students. And this proper training of the teacher sometimes require a lot of precious time, right? So in conventional setting, a teacher who is able to impart the knowledge properly learns about the lesson, goes to the class, delivers the lecture, creates an environment, have a discussion with the student and completes the lesson. Whereas in computer-assisted teaching, that is not possible. And here the teacher has to learn about the computer, the details about the features, and also how to use them and how can they use it effectively to teach to the student. Once the teacher has learned the entire process, the teacher has to then teach it to her students, which may consume a lot of time. Therefore, sometimes it may be very difficult for the teacher to implement it. Next one, it can lead to isolation among students. For an individual, we were talking about individualized experiences, right? It is sometimes a good concept. It is actually a good way of learning, but this also has disadvantages, right? When it is personalized and when it is personalized and when the individual is actually involved in their own activity, it might isolate the students from one another. For example, there is a classroom full of students, but each and every student is busy with their own computer or laptop in order to learn. There is no interaction that is happening among the students. The students are not interacting with one another, or there are no discussions happening among the teacher and the students as well. So they're isolated from one another, which is one of the major disadvantage of using a computer or carrying out a computer assisted learning. These are the various advantages and disadvantages of computer assisted learning. Let us now see application of computer in nursing education. So obviously in nursing education, the knowledge of computer is helpful for the teacher to prepare the slide shares, use the Microsoft Office PowerPoint, present the topics to the student. It can also be used by the students in order to present the topic to the teacher clearly or to the class clearly. So computer aids in learning and instruction by providing information and instruction to the students, by being tireless and repetitive, and by doing difficult calculation. So in education or in nursing education, we can use the computer in order to present a topic using various MS Office program, right? In education, we can also use the computer because it has various benefits like being tireless or repetitive. For example, if I want to learn about a particular concept, if I want to learn about maxims of teaching, teacher comes to the class, takes the class at once, and it is done, right? But if you have a computer, if you have the content in the computer, you can use it repetitively in order to understand the concept, in order to clarify the idea, and also in order to have an in-depth knowledge. The computer shows the feature of being tireless and can be repetitive for better understanding of the concept. Computer also provides instruction and information to the students as well as the teachers. And with the use of computer, we can easily do the calculations which are difficult to do it manually. Right? So these are the features for which computers can be used in nursing education. Next, we have administration. The first one is preparing records of nursing students, right? By using computer, we can prepare proper reports of nursing students. Next one is preparing and maintaining the records of the progress of each and every individual student. So as in the beginning, we have discussed that every progress report or every report of the student must be maintained in order to have an overview about the student. So maintaining a record with the use of computer in nursing education about the progress of the student, about the assessment of the student is also one way for which a computer is used in nursing administration. And finally, it is also used for preparing duty rosters of all the nurses or even for the postings of nursing students. Next, we have in hospitals. So we know in hospitals, computers are major aspect in today's world, right? To maintain the records of the patient, to maintain the record of patient's health status during the stay of the patient in the hospital, and to maintain and record every detail about the patient, right? The use of computer makes it very much easier for the nurses to record all those details in fraction of seconds, which would actually take a lot of time for them or for nurses to carry out manually. Therefore, it will help in increasing the productivity of the nurses. And finally, we have research work. So obviously for research work, we need computers. Computers are one of the very vital aspects of conducting a research or to understand any concept better. So computers are used in order to get information about the researches that has been carried out with the help of internet. With the help of internet, we can find out various researches published on various different aspects of healthcare system or various different aspects of nursing. Knowledge of the computer helps the nurses to provide patient-focused care and also increase their productivity. The knowledge of computer not only helps in reducing the time that is required by the nurses to document the reports of daily procedure that are carried out in the hospital, but in various other aspects like presenting the topic for their session to their fellow nurses, right? Not just that, it helps the nurses to gain idea and knowledge about various researches that has been conducted to upgrade their knowledge as well. Computer in today's world is a major aspect, and computer assisted learning is also one of an effective way of teaching. Even though there are various advantages of computer assisted learning, there are several disadvantages as well. So this brings us to the end of computer assisted learning. In today's session, we have discussed about what is a computer and how a computer assisted learning is carried out. What are the different programs that helps the student learn better, writing programs that helps the student to decrease their effort that is required for them to write or present a particular document, and what are the various advantages, disadvantages of computer assisted learning, and finally, what is the use of computer assisted learning or a computer in terms of nursing. I hope the class was helpful and you have understood the topic better. Thank you and have a great day ahead.